Hey YouTube, how you all going? Another important topic. Lots to cover in this video series, so I'm banging them out. In case you haven't noticed, recording them all on the same day, or at least a couple of them, and then I'll release them over time. Just covered nutrition. Next, or probably even more important than nutrition, is hydration. You need to drink. There's no two ways about that. Last year, I took a hydration backpack. I'm sure you're all very familiar with them. You know, the CamelBaks, there's lots of different brands. Essentially a backpack with a hydration bladder in the back. Tube comes over the shoulder and you suck on it to get your water. I decided to go with that for two reasons. A, it had a lot of pockets. Well, not a lot, but it had one large pocket that allowed me to carry the food that I wanted to eat. And also, it held about 2 litres of water. So I knew that regardless of where the water stations were, I would be able to drink water. Now, it did come in handy on one occasion in particular. There was a time when I was going through the swamp area, dropped into a pool of mud, and it splashed right up into my eyes. Like literally my face was covered with mud. Excuse my dogs, they're going nuts at someone outside. And with that mud in my eyes, I literally couldn't see, and it was stinging quite a lot. I ended up emptying I took the bladder out while I had my eyes closed, unscrewed the top and poured it on my eyes and helped flush them out, and I was able to keep going. It's the middle of the night, there's hardly anyone around, so if I didn't have that, I'm not too sure what I would do. Obviously, that's a kind of worst case scenario position, but as for the general race, would I carry a hydration backpack again? It's a very, very tough question. I think it slows you down. Not so much in that you run slower and stuff like that. It does just get snagged on barbed wire when you slide down. Things like you have to be mindful of it, and it can get a little bit in the way. The other thing was that when I got back to the tent and stuff and had to take it off before changing wetsuits, things like that, I noticed that over time the buckles and stuff were getting full of mud and the clips were hard to get back in. And, towards the end they literally wouldn't go back in. So if you are going to use a hydration backpack, you may need 2 or even 3. Like literally every 2 laps it's just going to get so clogged that you're going to need another one. Unless, you're sacrificing the fact that it's just going to be annoying and you don't mind with that. Now, that's all well and good. Maybe if you're someone who, you're going there, you obviously want to try your best. I'm not saying otherwise, but, you're thinking maybe 5-6 laps is kind of where you're going to end up. Nothing wrong with that. I did 5 laps last year. I know if I was to go back, my goal would be significantly higher, and that's why I'm doing these videos, to kind of help prepare people who are attempting their first World's Toughest Mudder. So if that's the case, hydration backpack, I do think it is beneficial. If you're someone who wants to push really hard and go even further than that, or try and go further than that and maintain a higher speed, I just think it's going to get in the way too much. And I would assume if you're one of those people as well that you have trained for a longer period of time, you understand your body a little bit better, and you can look at the map, work out where the hydration checkpoints are, and know that that's going to be sufficient for you. The only other option would be to have a smaller fuel belt where they have those smaller bottles of water, but I probably would either go with the full hydration backpack or just a very slim line one that doesn't have room for water bottles, and in there I'd have my energy gels. I don't think those little mini bottles where you have like 2 or 3 and then the little pouch for the gels, I don't think they're any good in my opinion. You either have to go to one extreme or the other. So that's my tips, guys, in terms of what to wear. Obviously, you do need to maintain your hydration levels throughout the event. If you don't drink enough and you do dehydrate, it can affect performance. That's a well-known statistic, in fact, in terms of running and endurance events. However, you don't want to overhydrate because you can have issues with your electrolyte balance as well. So with that in mind, some people took salt caps, those kind of things, or electrolyte drinks. Certainly beneficial, but you want to make sure you're still drinking sufficient water as well. Again, try it out in training. if you've got a hydration backpack, try running with it. What does it feel like? Does it annoy you? Get down and do bear crawls. Crawl over the around on the grass. Jump over some walls. What do you think it's like? Does it annoy you? What about when you're swimming? How does it feel? These are all things that you need to think about, and then that's going to ultimately impact your decision on whether or not you have a hydration backpack. Personally, as I said, it is a bit of a 50-50. If I was going back, I'd set a lot higher goals for myself, so I probably wouldn't carry one. But if you're someone who, you know that 5, 6, that kind of lap is going to be a big achievement for you. As I said, nothing wrong with that. I think it's fantastic. I love the sport. I love that it challenges people. Then, maybe a hydration backpack is for you, because although it's going to slow you down that fraction, it might lose you 1 or 2 places, but it's not going to matter in the big scheme of things. Hope that helps, guys. If you have any other questions, please let me know. Comment below, and I'll see you in the next video. Talk soon.